Figuring out where to live in Raleigh, North Carolina can be so confusing. There are so many different pockets of neighborhoods that each have their own pros and cons that you need to be aware of. So in this video, we're going to break down both the positives and the negatives of Raleigh's best neighborhoods. And at the end, we'll cover 2 hidden gem areas just outside of Raleigh. Let's jump right in. Starting in and around downtown, the first set of neighborhoods we will look at are the popular historic neighborhoods of Raleigh, which include historic Oakwood, historic Mordecai, and Boylan Heights. The positives of these neighborhoods are pretty obvious. The location. If you want to be near downtown Raleigh, these neighborhoods all allow you to access by walking or biking in. So for those who love the downtown atmosphere but want a house versus a high-rise apartment, these are perfect. The other obvious pro is the fact that they are historic homes, many of which were built around 100 years ago. You will see unique architecture and designs on both the inside and the outside, and you'll feel like you have a piece of Raleigh's history. The neighborhoods also have very mature, beautiful trees that provide shade and some privacy. And generally, they're known to have a good community feeling as you'll see people out walking and playing. But these neighborhoods certainly have their downsides, as they are expensive, especially on a price per square foot basis. And given that they are historic homes, they are old and will require more maintenance than most. And if you're looking to renovate, some areas will have more rigorous approval processes to preserve the historic nature. And lastly, the lots are on the smaller side and generally have some small front yards. So the homes are pretty close to the streets, which will reduce some feeling of privacy. Another neighborhood in a prime location is Forest Park, which is right next to the popular Village District and its entertainment, which is really its main pro. The Village District has great restaurants, high-end shopping, and more, so you really have a lot of what you need within walking distance. And you're a very short drive to downtown Raleigh and right next to NC State. Also, if you like trees, there's a ton of mature trees lining the streets and the backyards. The negatives, though, are very similar to the historic neighborhoods. It's very expensive here, and it's hard to find a home under $1 million. And for the ones that are, expect them to be smaller homes in the 1,500 square foot range. They will be older as well, requiring more maintenance and updating. And as you can imagine, the yards are also small in general. Moving to the northern side of downtown Raleigh, we will group these next neighborhoods of 5 Points, Hayes Barton, and the general Glenwood Village area together. This encompasses a large number of smaller neighborhoods in this area, but the prices, pros and cons are all very similar. First off, these homes are very nice and generally larger than what you can find in the previous neighborhoods. The lots are also a little bit larger than what you can find in the downtown Raleigh area, as many are between 1/4 to 1/2 an acre in size, especially as you look toward the Glenwood Village area. And they also have very mature trees, making them absolutely beautiful neighborhoods. And their locations are amazing, providing quick access to both downtown Raleigh, the Village District, Crabtree Mall, and North Hills, while also being convenient to I-440 that can set you up to quickly get anywhere in the triangle. Now for the downsides, and the biggest one again is the price. You're paying a lot per square foot. And with the houses on the larger side, these homes are mostly well over $1 million. The homes are also around 50 to 70 years old on average, so you're paying a high price for a home that may need some work done. Also, there are no real neighborhood amenities, so unless you belong to somewhere like the nearby North Hills or Carolina Country Clubs, you won't have easy access to a neighborhood pool or a park. One last minor con are that these neighborhoods are surrounded by main roads going into downtown, which can get crowded at times, but there are so many different back roads that you can take to minimize traffic impacts. Next up, we will focus on some of the most popular areas in Raleigh surrounding the North Hills Shopping Center, and that's the North Hills neighborhood in general, as well as the collection of neighborhoods just south of I-440. Again, pros for these areas are location, as if you like North Hills, Crabtree, and you like to have quick access to I-440, this is a perfect location and likely the most convenient in all of Raleigh. These areas are also in the midst of builders tearing down older homes and building new ones. So if you want a new construction home in a prime location in Raleigh, this is it. There's also a great sense of community here, and even though it's not included with the neighborhood, the North Hills Country Club is within the North Hills neighborhood itself, and there's the North Hills Park in there along with the nearby Shelley Lake Park. But yes, as you can imagine, the homes are expensive, especially the new construction homes, as they are typically between $2 and $4 million. And the Williamsboro area in general is a little more expensive as it's inside the I-440 beltline. You will also find that the teardown and rebuilds will leave the neighborhoods looking less cohesive, as there are new construction homes right next to 50-year-old ranch-style homes, at least for now. Also, the traffic around North Hills and I-440 there gets pretty bad during the morning and the afternoon commutes. So while it's in a prime location, I-440 can get backed up, which negates some of the benefits of being so close to it. Now, before we get into the next set of neighborhoods, if you want an overview of the entire Raleigh area as a whole, check out our video on where to live in Raleigh, where we break down all the different areas of Raleigh. And if you want to take a look at any of these neighborhoods, our team would be happy to help you. Next up, we will move slightly west to some very popular neighborhoods that are also in some prime locations, Brookhaven and Stonehenge. These neighborhoods are all minutes from Crabtree Valley Mall, just 15 to 20 minutes to downtown Raleigh and the Lenovo Center, 10 minutes to North Hills, and honestly, the commutes into RTP and the airport are not bad at all, as you can take some lesser traveled roads. You will again find mature trees, and the minimal traffic mixed with the abundance of cul-de-sacs in many parts of these neighborhoods make them great for playing outside. There are also homes that are much more reasonably priced than those just minutes away in North Hills, and many of the lots are around a half an acre in size, so there are lots of large private lots here. There are also a couple of parks nearby in Lynn Lake, Shelley Lake, and Laurel Hills, and several swim clubs around like Seven Oaks that many residents join. But the negatives involve the fact that many of the homes are at least 40 to 50 years old, and many will require updates. There are a couple of sections of Brookhaven where newer homes were built over the past 10 to 20 years, but generally these homes are older and have not been targeted for the teardown and rebuilds like you see in North Hills. Also, especially in Stonehenge, the abundance of trees is great for privacy, but does cause a mess. There is a legitimate tree canopy over many parts of the neighborhood, making it hard to grow grass and keep your home and cars clean. Moving on to the northern and generally newer side of Raleigh, we will start with the massive neighborhood of Northridge. For being in North Raleigh, Northridge is still very convenient to most of the area, as it's only 15 minutes into North Hills and 20 to 25 minutes into the downtown Raleigh NC State area, depending upon traffic. It's right next to I-540, which can get you to RTP and the RDU airport pretty quickly. It's also one of the few areas that has its own country club, and while it does require a separate membership from the general HOA, it has multiple pools, tennis courts, and a golf course. It has a mixture of lot sizes, but they are generally in the third of an acre to a half an acre range. And it also has mature trees with the potential for golf course views right out your backyard. From a negative perspective, the prices aren't really that much cheaper than the better located North Hills area, as it is expensive. Like North Hills, there are also a number of teardowns and rebuilds, so you can get a new construction home, but it comes at a high price. The existing homes are also pretty old in general, many of which are on the smaller side, so you very likely will need to upgrade and spend money on maintenance items. There's also quite a few secondary roads that pass through the neighborhood that act more as the main roadways and cut-throughs. While there are plenty of cul-de-sacs and lesser traveled areas, it does have more of these highly traveled roads than other neighborhoods. These next two neighborhoods in Durant Trails and Durant Trails are absolute gems in the Raleigh area for those who want a great location and a more affordable home. The prices overall are much more affordable than the other neighborhoods discussed, and you are honestly not sacrificing that much from a location perspective, as you are very close to I-540 and just a little further north than the convenient Northridge neighborhood. There are still relatively mature trees. Durant Trails has a neighborhood pool and a park, and there's a greenway that runs through the neighborhood and leads to the Durant Nature Park and Lake. On the negative side though, the homes are newer for Raleigh, but are still around 30 years old, and not all homes have been maintained to the same degree. There are also not too many homes with greater than 2,500 or so square feet, so larger families may find the homes a little bit tight. Also, the traffic surrounding the neighborhood, especially on Falls and East Road, can get pretty congested, and its Cub Trail is used regularly as a cut-through, so kids and pets need to be cautious next to that road, even though it's only a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit. Moving just slightly north are another set of Raleigh's gems. and that's Falls River and Bedford. These neighborhoods are the closest to master plan concept that Raleigh has, as they have a number of beautiful parks as well as pools and tennis courts within the neighborhoods themselves. Bedford even has a small shopping center in the middle of the neighborhood, and Falls River is directly adjacent to a very large shopping center as well. This really helps to build a very connected community in these neighborhoods. They are also beautiful, especially the uniquely designed Bedford, which is tree-lined streets and home designs inspired by some of the most famous neighborhoods and styles along the East Coast. And from a cost perspective, these homes are all reasonably priced for the great amenities and the location that you get. The negatives of these neighborhoods, though, are like Durant Trails and Durant Trails. You have to deal with the traffic along Falls and News Road, and this is the case to get to I-540 to access other areas of the Triangle, and commute times into downtown Raleigh can get to around 30 minutes. Also, there are no new construction homes in any of these neighborhoods, so you do need to expect some maintenance costs, as many of the homes were built just before they started using materials like hardy board for siding, as an example. Next up is Wakefield, which if you look on a map, you wouldn't believe that it's actually in Raleigh, as it's nestled up right next to Wake Forest. Wakefield has just about every different type of house and price range that you could imagine, all the way from the more affordable homes in the sub $500,000 range to the multi-million-dollar mansions. So there is quite the variety. Wakefield is a beautifully maintained and landscaped neighborhood that also is built around its own country club. So if you want to pay extra for the membership, you'll get a pool, tennis courts, and a very nice golf course that many homes back up to. There's also a great network of paved walking paths to enjoy, and you're right next to Forest Ridge Park, which is a newly built park right next to Falls Lake. Also, many of the homes were built out of brick in place of siding, so exterior maintenance costs are less than other comparable homes. But from a negative perspective, what sticks out the most is its location, as it's over 30 minutes to get into downtown Raleigh, and depending on traffic on Falls and News, it can be 30 minutes or more to get to the RDU airport. Also, the yards are pretty small on average for this area, and despite it being in the newer part of Raleigh, it was built over 30 years ago and many homes will still need updates. The last major neighborhood we will cover before finishing up with some other popular areas of Raleigh is Brier Creek. Brier Creek is also a country club community built around a golf course and is right next to the massive shopping center of Brier Creek as well. It's in a pretty convenient location to RTP, and it's very close to the RDU airport. It's also minutes from I-540 that connects you to the Triangle as a whole, and its home prices overall aren't too bad for a country club, as you can still find some decent-sized homes between $500,000 to $750,000. The downsides, though, to Brier Creek are, first off, you have to be okay with some airplane noise. Planes are generally not flying overhead unless they are circling, but Brier Creek is right next to the airport and you will hear the airplanes. Also, its location is both a pro and a con, as its main roadway into Raleigh is US 70, which does get backed up during rush hour. Brier Creek Shopping Center is generally a busy location as well, so you can get stuck in weekend shopping congestion right outside of the neighborhood. And lastly, two locations of Raleigh that are hidden gems of the area are both north and south of Raleigh city limits. On the north side, you will find a lot of older, very established neighborhoods with some luxury new construction neighborhoods mixed in. This is a coveted area as it provides privacy for those who have a high budget and want a new home in a secluded location, but be close enough to Raleigh itself to not feel like you're way out there. Also, it is right next to one of Raleigh's largest lakes in Falls Lake, where you can take your boat. Prices are a double-edged sword, as you're either getting a new construction home for a very expensive price, or you're getting an older home on a wooded lot that is likely not updated, but at a much more affordable price. Many of the older homes in here have significant tree cover, which provides excellent privacy, but at the same time, it's a lot to keep up with and can cause wear and tear on homes over time. On the south side of Raleigh city limits are a similar mix of older and luxury new construction neighborhoods that have similar pros and cons to those in North Raleigh. The greatest advantage of these neighborhoods is that they are still very convenient to downtown Raleigh, as you can use many back roads to avoid traffic, and you're close to the entertainment of Cary, Apex, and Holly Springs. I do believe this area will also appreciate quite a bit in the next 5 to 10 years, given the adjacent completion of the latest loop of I-540. To learn more about the different areas of Raleigh as a whole, check out our video on where to live in Raleigh, North Carolina. And if you didn't see what you wanted to in Raleigh, check out our video quickly breaking down the suburbs of Raleigh that many have found are great alternatives to Raleigh itself. Thank you for watching.